What makes a leader a great storyteller? It's a mix of mindset, awareness, and skill. Today, we are uncovering the 5 distinct traits that separate ordinary communicators from extraordinary storytelling leaders. These aren't just techniques you can copy, they are transformative qualities that redefine how you connect with others. Welcome to the Storytelling at Work podcast. I'm your host Vinod Krishna, and here we explore storytelling, communication, leadership, and more. In my 3 decades of experience in the world of business, I have observed some traits that appear consistently in leaders who are remarkable. I believe these traits will elevate your leadership presence. So let's dive in straight away. The first trait, congruence. When Warren Buffett speaks, markets move, not because of complex jargon, but because of something much rarer, that is congruence. How do you spot leaders who embody congruence? Their words, beliefs, and actions exist in perfect alignment. Nothing feels rehearsed or manufactured. There is no disconnect between the message and the messenger. You can sense it immediately when a leader lacks this quality. Their stories might be polished, but something feels off, like watching an actor who doesn't believe their own lines. When a leader shares a failure or challenge openly, that vulnerability creates an instant connection because it's authentic and that comes from a place of congruence. Remember, you don't need the perfect story, you need a story that perfectly aligns with who you are. Second trait, purposeful communication. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. Leaders who embrace storytelling never communicate by accident. Each story serves a specific intention. Before they speak, they ask themselves, what message must land with this audience? What specific action do I want this story to inspire? Why this story for these people at this moment? Being purposeful extends to every level of their message. The examples they select, the details they emphasize, the emotional notes they hit, and the resolution they work towards. The third trait, being a great listener. Here's what's forgotten by many leaders. The most compelling storytellers talk less than you would expect. They listen intently, they absorb before they respond. Leaders who adopt storytelling approach conversations with genuine curiosity. They're not just waiting for their turn to speak, they're obtaining a deeper understanding so they can make their stories resonate. They notice the exact language their team uses, they pick up on unspoken concerns, they catch the metaphors that naturally emerge in discussions. They pay attention to the victories people celebrate and the challenges they experience. This is how they build a repository of stories that feel tailor made for their audience. The stories come from the very people they are speaking with. As leadership guru Stephen Covey noted, most people don't listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. Storytellers break this very pattern. The fourth trait, contextual thinking. Even the most powerful story can fall flat if delivered in the wrong context. This is where situational awareness becomes critical. Storytellers are masters of reading the environment. They consider many factors. Is the team energized or exhausted? Is this a moment for inspiration or practical direction? What is the underlying mood in the room? How much time do I truly have for impact? I witnessed this firsthand when a vice president in a large organization decided to ditch his planned presentation during a company crisis. Instead of his prepared remarks, he shared a brief, candid story about navigating uncertainty in his own career. This contextual intelligence also applies to format. They know when a story needs to be short versus being longish and deep, when it needs a bit more of emotion versus analytical clarity, when it needs personal connection versus broader perspective, when it needs immediate resolution versus leaving some questions to reflect on. They adapt not just what they say, but how they say it to meet the moment perfectly. The fifth and final trait, emotional intelligence. Storytellers possess a heightened emotional radar, both for themselves and others. They can read subtle social cues that most miss. The slight tension in a team member's response, the energy shift when a specific topic arises, the unspoken questions waiting to be asked, and most importantly, they are aware of their own emotional triggers and biases. This emotional intelligence allows them to adjust their message in real time, addressing the actual concerns, not just the spoken ones. It also helps them gauge which emotional notes to hit in their stories. Sometimes inspiration is needed, other times reassurance, sometimes challenge, and other times celebration. As Daniel Goleman's research confirms, emotional intelligence accounts for 85 to 90% of what sets outstanding leaders apart. When applied to storytelling, it is the difference between information transfer and genuine influence. So let's bring it all together. These five traits, congruence, purposefulness, listening, contextual thinking, and emotional intelligence, they form the foundation of being a leader who is a great storyteller. And each trait can be developed with intentional practice. Here's your challenge: choose one trait from today's episode. Focus on strengthening it over the next week in your communication. Notice what shifts. So, thank you for tuning into the Storytelling at Work podcast. Do subscribe and share this with someone who you think might find it useful. And if you've got a question or a storytelling challenge at work, do reach out.